Hey guys, welcome to our assembly. It's Friday morning and it's a really exciting Friday because all of the teachers are in school ready to welcome some of you back to school, which is fantastic. So the children who are in nursery and in reception and in year 1 and in year 6, some of you are going to be coming back into school for the very first time in quite a long while. And on Monday, I set out in the assembly all the things that we're doing to keep you guys safe and the changes that we're going to make. And your teachers have been doing the Google Meets so that you can see the classrooms and you can see what it looks like and answer some of your questions. So we're really excited to have you guys back. And also, we've been putting lots and lots of plans together with loads of really fun activities. And I've seen the visual timetables on the boards and the list of things that you guys are going to be doing in the classrooms. And there's some really lovely activities going on. You've got some great books to read and you've got some great activities to do outside. There's going to be some really interesting maths that makes your brain itch, going, oh God, that's really difficult work. So really interesting stuff to do. So it's going to be really good fun when you come back in school. But when you come back into school, you haven't been here for quite a little while. And some of you might have been out on walks around about Wincham or Lostock or wherever you live. And some of you might have been out to the shops a couple of times and been to Grandma and Grandpa's or seen different people in different houses. And some of you might not have been out at all, and it might be a little bit scary and you might be a little bit nervous. So we're going to have a look at a little bit of a story today about a boy called George and about how George feels on his first day back at school, because some of the things that George goes through, you might be going through as well. So you'll be able to see what George does to make himself feel better, and it might help you to feel a little bit better as well. So let's have a look at our story about George. This is George. George doesn't want to go to school. Okay. So George was woken up by his mum. It was really early. He'd been at home for weeks due to the coronavirus pandemic. Lots of things had happened, but he'd had a great time at home. He played computer games, he read books, he listened to music, and he did loads of playing. But today, though, Mum said he had to go back to school. And weird things started happening to George. His tummy felt like it had butterflies fluttering around inside it. His heart was beating fast, and he felt like he couldn't breathe properly. His head hurt, and he felt a little bit sick. He felt hot and trembly and all shaky. Poor George. And George didn't know why he felt ill like this. He wondered if he'd got coronavirus. Perhaps he'd best stay at home where it was safe and he wouldn't spread it to other people. He'd been really good at social distancing, where you had to stay 2 meters away from anyone outside of your house. So he thought he'd best ask his mum. I feel ill. I wonder if I've got coronavirus. Can I ask my mum? So George went to his mum and asked her if he could be starting with coronavirus because he felt all weird. Oh, George, darling, no. Of course you don't have coronavirus, said Mum. You're just feeling a bit worried about going back to school. Do you think I am ill, Mum? I feel really strange with all these butterflies. George felt a bit better, but he certainly didn't want to go to school. Oh, come on now, get your coat and bag and let's get off to school. But I don't want to go. I want to stay at home and play. George was a bit interested in seeing his friends again. That's quite a cool thing to see your friends. He'd missed them. Think about all your friends who haven't seen you properly for ages, said Mum. Aren't you excited to see them? But I want to stay with you. I don't want to go to school. My tummy hurts and I feel sick, said George. So he's all right about seeing his friends. That's not a bad thing. We're quite happy about that. But suddenly, George burst into tears. He couldn't help himself. He was so worried and scared about going back to school. He was upset. I want to stay with you, cried George. So George is feeling sad and upset that he's having to leave his mum. Then something even weirder happened. George felt angry. He was not going to school. I want to stay with you. So George got upset and George got angry. Then he felt scared. I want to stay with you. So now he's been angry, upset and angry and now scared. So George tried all sorts of things to avoid going to school. He ran away and hid under his bed. He decided his teeth needed brushing again. He decided to go to the toilet again. He decided he needed his blue school bag and not his red school bag. He decided to wash his hands again. He decided he needed to give his pet cat another cuddle. And he took forever eating his breakfast, eating one Cocoa Pop at a time. Oh, George, now come on, let's get going. We're going to be late, said Mum. He got all sorts of thoughts going round his head. George was very, very sad and worried. What if everything's different? What if I'm needed at home and I'm not there? What if I don't see Mum and Dad again? What if something happens to Mum and Dad while I'm gone? What if something bad happens at home and I'm not there? What if the work's too hard? What if my friends don't like me anymore? What if my mum forgets to pick me up from school? All these things were jumbling around George's head. They were what if monsters. Each little monster was saying, what if this? What if that? George remembered his teacher telling him about what if monsters. When the what if monsters start in your head, you need to do a few things and try and stop the what if monsters. He knew the more he thought about them, the bigger and bigger the what if monsters would get. Until his mind would be full of what if monsters, and he didn't want that. He remembered he'd been told to think about something else to get rid of them, so he needed to fill his mind with other things. He thought he'd best try that because there was no way his mum would give in and let him stay at home. Those what if monsters just had to go. He took some calming breaths, where you breathe in for the count of 7 and breathe out for the count of 11. And we've done our finger breathing like that, haven't we? He started thinking about the fun he'd had last year on holiday. He went to the beach and played in the sand for ages and ages. His mum bought him an ice cream and they even paddled in the sea. George started to feel better. He even felt a bit happy. He had such a good time on the beach. It was good to be able to go out and do things again. He'd missed going out and doing fun things. He started feeling more positive. He started to think about his friends, that he missed the great fun he'd had with them when he was last at school. At school, he could play games with other kids. That's amazing. At school, he could see his teacher, who he loved. At school, he could see his head teacher, who he loved. That's a really good point, isn't it? You get to see your amazing head teacher. At school, he could have his school dinners, which he loved. He could do his maths, which he loved doing. George decided, after all, it was a good idea to go to school today. He was still a bit worried and scared about leaving Mum. It was hard to admit this was the problem. He felt safe at home. He felt scared about leaving his mum. It actually felt good to admit to himself this was the problem because he knew he could beat it. He remembered his teacher talking about making a plan if you're a bit worried about something. He thought he'd best make a plan in his mind on what would happen when he got to school. He didn't want to cry or get all upset when he left his mum. She might feel sad if he did that, and he didn't want Mum to be upset. He decided he would give Mum a kiss on each cheek, give Mum one big hug, give Mum one big wave, give Mum a big smile, and then he'd say, "Have a good day, Mum." He'd think about all the fun things he was going to do at school today and not let those what-if monsters into his mind. This made George feel better. He knew he could do this. He's being positive. He set off to school with his mum and he followed his plan. He gave her a kiss on each cheek. He gave her a big hug. He gave her a big wave. He gave her a big smile. He said, "Have a good day, Mum." George had a great day at school with all his friends. He felt happy. His aches, pains, butterflies and what-if monsters disappeared. He couldn't wait for tomorrow. There you go, guys. It's a really nice story about George. Now, I think that all of you guys might be just a little bit like George, and you might have some big worries, or you might have some little worries, and there's something that you can do that makes them lots and lots and lots better, and that is to actually tell somebody how you're feeling. Okay, so you can talk to the people that you've got at home about it, and you can do all those positive things. You can decide what you're going to do. You can have a plan. Give Mum and Dad a bit, or Dad, or whoever drops you off, a big hug, and wave goodbye and say, "Have a good day, Mum," or "Have a good day, Dad," and then go into school with your teacher. Okay, so we're really looking forward to seeing you on Monday. We've missed you all lots and lots and lots. To all of you who are still at home, the children who aren't coming back into school yet, we miss you lots and lots too. It's been lovely seeing you in Google Meets and things like that. And I hope you guys are all okay as well. And we'll see you all very, very soon. Okay, bye-bye.